Good evening, my friends. We are live. This is Live Free. Oh man, I'm so used to Live Free or Die. This is actually the Eli King Show. I am your host, Eli King. Thank you for joining me. Oh boy, I forgot what day it is. It is Saturday, August 9th. Yes. Excuse me. I'm used to having my big TV on over here. All right, thank you for joining me on this lovely Saturday. Very busy in here today, but we will get you your alternative news media, what you crave for, what you beg for, the truth. And we'll start off, of course, with Mr. Obama. And we have a little video that goes with it. It's called Obama Flashback. I said I'd end the war in Iraq, and I ended it. Yes, as you all know, Barack Obama ended the war in Iraq. Or did he? I don't know. Well, let's get to that video. Obama Flashback. I said I'd end the war in Iraq. Oh, boy. Yeah, this guy's... Here we go. Let's just get to it. You see what I'm talking about?
Artillery was fired against Kurdish ground forces near Erbil. Obviously, Erbil, where the U.S. has a consulate, where the U.S. has multiple assets and advisors standing right now. As the president laid out, it was those individuals that the president is very concerned about, U.S. personnel, that if any activity was taken in that direction, the U.S. would react with airstrikes. That is what occurred most recently. The Pentagon has confirmed those occurred. So, Betty, it's not just a humanitarian mission anymore. As the president laid out, strikes were authorized and strikes have now taken place.
Okay, and the president has received, Phil, as you know, a lot of criticism on the foreign policy front. So how much did that factor into this decision to launch airstrikes?
Well, it played a role, Betty. I think it's played a role for all of his advisors over the last couple months. It's been an incredible time, foreign policy-wise, just generally in crises alone. But I think what you have to recognize is the White House is constantly trying to walk the line between not putting in ground troops, not overextending themselves like they feel the previous administration did, but also making sure on humanitarian grounds, when you're looking at a potential mass murder or genocide, as the president laid out, that perhaps there's a role for the White House to step in. Take a listen to what the president said last night, really kind of addressing those critics.
Earlier this week, one Iraqi in the area cried to the world, "There is no one coming to help." Well, today America is coming to help. We're also consulting with other countries and the United Nations who have called for action to address this humanitarian crisis.
Today America is coming to help, obviously a key line from those remarks last night. And Betty, I think it's something you're going to see the administration continue to do. This is an escalating crisis, something all of his advisors have acknowledged right now. And I think that they're trying to do everything in their power to try and figure out a way to contain this and address it in the days ahead.
Actually, my friends, that was the second video I was going to show you. But yes, the war is supposed to be over in Iraq. Let's go back to the flashback where he actually said the war in Iraq, that he ended it. So you can see, now
we can start doing some nation building here at home. So, we've ended the war in Iraq. I've kept the commitments that I've made. I told you we'd end the war in Iraq. We did.
Remind them that this is the president that ended the war in Iraq.
Hey! You know I say what I mean, and I mean what I say. I said I'd end the war in Iraq. I ended it.
He has taken good care of our men and women in uniform. He has ended the war in Iraq.
I mean what I say, and I say what I mean. I said I'd end the war in Iraq. I ended it.
We ended the war in Iraq.
That's why I ended the war in Iraq. So, 4 years ago I told you we'd end the war in Iraq, and I did. 4 years ago I said I would end the war in Iraq, and I did. Indeed, everything that American troops have done in Iraq, all the fighting, and all the dying, the bleeding, and the building and the training and the partnering, all of it has led to this moment of success. But we're leaving behind a sovereign, stable, and self-reliant Iraq.
I tell you. All right, so he has just authorized military strikes in Iraq, but as you saw in that video 2 years ago, he ended the war in Iraq. You see, the war in Iraq is over. Or maybe this is just like George Orwell's 1984. We're at war with Eurasia. We're not at war with Eurasia. My American people, my American friends, the mainstream media and the Obama administration are playing you for fools. They think you are fools. And unfortunately, most of you are. Now, I have my loyal listeners and my loyal fan base who are well informed, but there are those out there who are still asleep. Wake up, people. 9/11 was an inside job. The CIA was responsible for the assassination of JFK. I am not a conspiracy theorist. I am a conspiracy analyst. All right, back to this credent, this scumbag Obama, who I am ashamed to call my president, who I am so ashamed of it because in 2008, I actually voted for this scumbag. I was fooled, just like maybe most of you out there. Even though I was warned by my Republican friends, even though I am not a Republican nor a Democrat, I am a constitutionalist, I was warned by a couple of my Republican friends that Obama is a snake in the grass. And I just couldn't believe it. With all his constitutional promises he was giving to us and all the hope and all the change, I just could not believe that the first black president of the United States would turn out to be one of the biggest criminal crime bosses. We can call him that. He is a mafia don run by upper echelon mafia don bosses. And yeah, it all started in Chicago. Rahm Emanuel is the mayor in Chicago right now, running things. Scumbags. Criminals. Michael Bloomberg, scumbag, criminal. All right, give me a call, 212-245-7273. Please. Yeah. Because, like it says in this next article, Obama defends use of executive power. The American people don't want me just standing around. That's right. Obama has a pen and Obama has his Obama phone. And he will use them, okay, without the authority of Congress. All right, we got a phone caller. Let's see what they got to say. Caller, you're on the air. Hello, hello, hello.
Yo, what up, man?
What's up, brother? What's on your mind?
Yeah, man. Well, I'm thinking about joining Israelites.
You're joining, you want to join who?
Israelite.
The Israelites.
Yeah. Think about that.
Well, if your religious belief or your religious faith guides you to that, you are free to choose what you want to do. This is America. You have the freedom of religion as it states in our First Amendment, my friend. But I encourage you to join the constitutionalist, the 3%ers. Are you still there, my friend?
Yeah.
Good, good, good. What do you think about our United States Constitution?
Man, all this is already come to the end, man.
Yeah, I guess. What do you think about what's going on in this country today?
It's all messed up, man.
What do you think about the mainstream media?
What happened?
What do you think about the mainstream media? You know, CNN, Fox, NBC.
It's all controlled by mafia. All people going to hell.
Yeah, I tell you. Well, I'm glad you threw your opinion out there. You got anything else on your mind?
Hey, where you from?
Me, I was born and raised on the Lower East Side here in Manhattan.
Nationality.
Oh, my parents, they descend from Puerto Rico.
But you're Israelite. We're the tribe of Israelite.
According to those guys standing on the corner, yes, I am an Israelite.
Yeah. Much love, brother.
Much love. Shalom to you, my brother. I appreciate the call. All right. Assalamu alaikum, shalom, peace be to you all, no matter what religion you are. As long as you love America and you defend my United States Constitution, I love you. All right, back to this last article. This is by Hunter Walker from the Business Insider. Obama defends use of executive power. The American people don't want me just standing around. Like I said, he says he has a pen and he has a phone and he's going to use it and he's going to bypass Congress, he said during a press conference. Yeah, all his campaign promises in 2008, they just don't equate. Okay. Obama is a liar. He is going to abuse his executive power. And you have senators like Dianne Feinstein over here says ISIS will attack in our backyard. Yes, this is why they're using their executive orders to take away our weapons so that we become defenseless Americans. California Democratic Senator Committee Dianne Feinstein, this witch, said on Friday that ISIS will attack America from within. Gee, and I wonder how ISIS came into power. Well, if you look at history, and I love history because those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it, my friends. Okay? If you look at history, look at what they did to Saddam. Now, Saddam had Al-Qaeda and all those terrorists in check. If Al-Qaeda came over and crossed Saddam's border, Saddam would kill them right on the spot. He had no problem with Al-Qaeda. He would kill them and throw them out of his country. Gaddafi, same thing. The problem is, Al-Qaeda really works for the CIA. ISIS really works for the CIA. This is all a dog and pony show, my friends. The mainstream media lies. And yeah, and they are destroying our Constitution in the middle of all this, trying to disarm Americans with their new bills. So if ISIS does attack in our backyard in America, like I said, we will be defenseless. In New York City, let's say you get Chinese troops or Russian troops, like in Red Dawn, just drop down all over the city. We only have 30,000 police officers that are armed. About. What are we gonna do? Choke them all? Choke all the Chinese to death? Like they did to poor Eric Garner for selling cigarettes? That's another story we'll get into. You should be free to sell cigarettes and not get choked out for it. Well, for the money his family's gonna get, you can choke me out any day, NYPD. Cha-ching! Oh, boy. And then they locked up the guy who shot the video for weapons possession, by the way. That's another story. And, of course, you got people like Al Sharpton, the FBI informant, jumping on the ambulance bandwagon. Of course, he'll jump on anything to make a profit. Even back in the 80s when he was making cocaine deals with an FBI undercover agent. This was on video, of course. But back to the Constitution. I'm digressing here. They're trying to destroy our United States Constitution as we know it. and they're trying to get rid of our Second Amendment, our right to bear arms, our right to have a gun, our right to protect ourselves and our family and our friends and our land and our country. NDAA, National Defense Authorization Act, was signed into law on New Year's Eve by President Obama while we were all stink-faced, you know what I mean? But he says, don't worry, I'm not going to use it. I'm not going to kill Americans. I'm not going to detain Americans and throw them in jail without due process, without a lawyer. Same thing they said about NAFTA 20 years ago. We're not going to use NAFTA. 20 years later, the borders are wide open. Super NAFTA highways coming into effect. In 15, 20 years, they will be enacting and using the National Defense Authorization Act. They will be detaining Americans like you and I for simply speaking out and exercising their First Amendment. This is why we must save the Constitution. And if you believe in saving the Constitution, please, please, don't be afraid. Give me a call. This is a live show, 212-245-7273. Our next video actually is going to be We Don't Follow the Constitution. Cop resigns after outrage. It'll be that first video up top there. Let's get to it so you can just see what I'm talking about. Well, they probably pulled the video already. Look at that. How about the one under it? They pulled it. Sons of bitches. Yeah, they pulled the video. Anyway, probably why they pulled the video is because they have the cop who basically admits and says, well, in his Brooklyn accent, he goes, hey, Obama doesn't follow the Constitution, so we don't have to follow the Constitution, and you have no constitutional rights, so we're locking you up, scumbag. Hey, hey. I wish I had the video. All right, we got a caller. Caller, you're on the air.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my, yeah, you know, this guy is like, he's getting worse by the minute, man. He is like a clown, you know. Now I see why the Russians hate us so much. Yeah, we're like a laughing stock, you know, because this is what we get for sticking our nose into their business and stuff. And you're going to like this. Did you notice, like on Yahoo, that they're saying about Russian planes are getting close to our aerospace in Alaska? I don't know if you heard about that.
Well, Sarah Palin and Mitt Romney, these scumbag Republicans, warned us about this during the 2012 debates, but Obama just dismissed it as take your 80s rhetoric back into a time machine, something like that. I'm paraphrasing there. But yeah, basically he clowned them on national television. Everybody laughed, of course. Now it seems like Russia is actually, like you said, in our backyard, flying planes.
Yeah, this is why the USA is crumbling into pieces. This is why. You know, like the USA is crumbling, as, you know, little by little. Look what's going on over here. You know, people are fleeing out of here. You know, people don't want to stay here.
Yes,
you know?
a record number of United States citizens have renounced their citizenship. This is true.
Yeah, man, they don't want to stay here because look what's going to go down. It's going to come down over here. They don't want to be around when stuff starts erupting.
Yeah, who knows what
you know,
will erupt.
You know, it's just a matter of time, you know, when it does.
They can use anything. The Ebola scare. Anything.
Oh, yeah, the Ebola. Oh, speaking of that, what do you think about that doctor, bringing a doctor over here with the affected virus? Because I know what Howard Jones said, that Obama was very unprecedented of bringing the patient over to Atlantic, Georgia.
Yeah, I don't know how smart that is. I mean, bringing...
Now, how did he contract that virus anyway?
Who knows? They claim it's not airborne, but I believe it is airborne, and I believe it does attack.
Bush, right?
It does attack the black genome, just like the AIDS virus does. Yeah, you got
now
Dr.
They're saying like the Ebola is more lethal.
Yeah, you got Dr. Eric Pianka from the University of Texas. Professor Eric Pianka stated that he dreamed of an Ebola-like virus that acted much faster than AIDS to wipe out most of the population, including himself and his family. And everybody just stood up and applauded because, you know, according to them, we're overpopulated, sir.
Yeah, now you know the World Health Organization declared this as a global emergency.
It is a global emergency.
Yeah.
If Ebola hits New York,
this is going to cause medical tyranny in the state. This is going to cause medical tyranny.
If in fact Ebola hits here in New York City, especially,
we're in trouble.
What's that new movie coming out? Purge Anarchy.
Oh yeah, my friend saw that movie, man. It's going to be like that. There's been a lot of psyops and stuff.
Yeah, it'll be like that, but not for 12 hours, more like 12 weeks or months, maybe.
Oh, of course, yeah. It's going to go longer than that. It's definitely going to be longer. Like, you know, cities can burn within 5 days, and martial law will be declared in 72 hours.
Yes, this is true.
After 72 hours and all that.
What do you think about the my next story, Steve? Eyewitness in NYPD chokehold murder arrested on unrelated charges. You're mad because I filmed your boy. What do you think about that?
Oh, get this. You know that hypocrite Patrick Lynch, or should I say Finch? Because
the PBA president, yes.
To cover with the union and all that. He's a real scumbag right there. You know,
yes,
I lost respect for him, man.
This guy is a moron by all means, and I'll explain why.
And me and all that.
Let me explain why. I'll read his quote here, Steve. I actually have it. This was not a chokehold, Pat Lynch said.
Exactly, man.
That was not... No, he's right, Steve. He's right. Because growing up, I used to watch the WWF, and there was this wrestler called Brutus the Barber Beefcake. And he used that same exact move, and they actually called it the sleeper hold. And what it did was, it put you to sleep. So, yeah, that's what he did. He didn't use the chokehold, Steve. He used the sleeper hold and put Eric Gardner to sleep permanently.
So he did it like that. So basically, it appeared to be a chokehold, but he did like the sleeper hold. That was you're saying.
For selling cigarettes. No, it was a chokehold, Steve. I'm being sarcastic, but the whole damn thing is sleeper hold, chokehold. The guy was murdered for selling cigarettes.
You know what? Tell the bottom line.
If you want to sell cigarettes, you should be free to sell cigarettes as you wish.
Now that is just like a small petty crime, you know. You know, like to try to be drastic and forceful about it. What about all the other stuff that's going on? That's petty right there.
Yeah. Well, like I said, you can choke me out for the amount of money they're going to get. If he has any kids. Hey, come choke me out any day of the week. As they can. Hopefully, Steve, you're there to catch it on film.
Well, yeah, but what about all the other stuff that is not captured on film?
Yeah, that goes on every day.
One thing that has to happen is that, you know, instead of depending on Al Sharpton and all that, you have to really do an uprising. That's the only way you're going to get this message. Otherwise, it's going to be continuing.
Absolutely.
You know? You're not going to get no justice.
The people must wake up, Steve, and
yeah, we're still asleep.
Have a spiritual revolution, at least. All right, brother. Listen, I'm running out of time. I appreciate the call. God bless you,
All right, man.
All right, brother. All right. Before we go, I want to get to this last video. Switching gears here. This teachers union president will punch you in the face if you don't like Common Core. We're not going to play all of the video, but it's too long. But let's just play it, some of it, so you can see what I'm talking about.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Michael Mulder. I'm the president of the United Federation of Teachers Local 2. I stand before you in complete support of resolution number 2. And I understand, and let's be clear, the history of standards. Standards are our tool. Those are the tools of teachers. And we understand that No Child Left Behind, when they started comparing one state to another, the teachers said it was unfair and we needed a common set of standards which we should all be working off of. And as a local, who had one of the worst implementations in the entire country of Common Core, I understand my brothers and sisters' frustration and anger about the Common Core. And I have heard the stories about how Eli Broad, Bill Gates, Joel Klein, and a flying saucer full of Martians designed these things to brainwash us all. But I want to bring this back to the classroom and to the teacher.
Pay for that one.
There has never been a set of standards designed that took into account the diversity of all of the students that we teach. That is up to us to fix that. And I can tell you now in New York City, since we have gotten rid of Pearson, and we now have teachers unpacking the Common Core, we are seeing its promise. But the point, and what bothers me more than anything, is the idea that the American Federation of Teachers would back down from a fight. The standards are ours. Tests are ours. We are fighting now because they took tests away from them to bring them back to us. You don't back down from a fight. They took our standards away from us. We're going to take them back from them because that is our tool. We are the teachers. They are not the teachers. It is our profession. So I stand here in support for this for one simple reason. If someone takes something from me, I'm going to grab it right back out of that cold, twisted, sick hand and say it is mine. You do not take what is mine. And I'm going to punch you in the face and push you in the dirt because this is a teacher.
All right, you heard him. He said he's going to punch me in the face because I don't like Common Core. Well, Mr. Michael Mulgrew, I challenge you to a boxing match in the squared circle, you scumbag. I challenge you to a fight anywhere, on your block, on my block, in a damn sewer. Let's go one-on-one. You're a punk, you scumbag. You have no balls. You have no guts. Hit the bumper music. We're out of time. Oh, my God. This guy's a coward. I would demolish him. I'll run into you one day, you'll see. And you'll cower like a coward like you are. There's cowards everywhere. Anyway, just people, my friends, my family, I love you. But unfortunately, we're out of time. Join me next week and every week, Saturday, Eastern Standard Time. Only on mnn.org and on your local Manhattan cable networks. God bless you. God bless America. God save the United States Constitution, and if you have received this transmission, you are the resistance. I am your host, Eli King. Thank you for joining me. Oh boy, I forgot what day it is. It is Saturday, August 9th. Yes. Excuse me. I'm used to having my big TV on over here. All right. Thank you for joining me on this lovely, lovely Saturday. Very busy in here today, but we will get you your alternative news media, what you crave for, what you beg for, the truth. And we'll start off, of course, with Mr. Obama. And we have been talking about.
Artillery was fired against Kurdish ground forces near Erbil. Obviously, Erbil, where the U.S. has a consulate, where the U.S. has multiple assets and advisors standing right now. As the president laid out, it was those individuals that the president is very concerned about, U.S. personnel, that if any activity was taken in that direction, the U.S. would react with airstrikes. That is what occurred most recently. The Pentagon has confirmed those occurred. So, Betty, it's not just a humanitarian mission anymore. As the president laid out, strikes were authorized and strikes have now taken place.
Okay.
A little video that goes with it. It's called Obama Flashback. I said I'd end the war in Iraq, and I ended it. Yes, as you all know, Barack Obama ended the war in Iraq. Or did he? I don't know. Well, let's get to that video. Obama Flashback. I said I'd end the war in Iraq. Oh, boy. Yeah, this guy's Here we go. Let's just get to it. You see what I'm evening, my friends. We are live. This is Live Free. Oh man, I'm so used to Live Free or Die. This is actually the Eli King Show.
And the president has received, Phil, as you know, a lot of criticism on the foreign policy front. So how much did that factor into this decision to launch airstrikes?
Well, it played a role, Betty. I think it's played a role for all of his advisors over the last couple months. It's been an incredible time, foreign policy-wise, just generally in crises alone. But I think what you have to recognize is the White House is constantly trying to walk the line between not putting in ground troops, not overextending themselves like they feel the previous administration did, but also making sure on humanitarian grounds when you're looking at a potential mass murder or genocide